What's up, guys? If you are new here, hello and welcome. And if you are a returning subscriber, a golden oldie, welcome back, homie. I appreciate your support. As you guys would have seen from my intro, I am back home, and since 2024 is about to come to an end, we're having year-end functions at work and closing off what has been an amazing year and looking forward to the new blessings that come with 2025. Now, as per the title of the video, work-life balance. What is it about? Is it a myth? Is it something that's actually possible? Is it something that you cannot do? Well, I'm going to give you my views in this video. So if this is something that sparks your interest, then please do stay tuned because I'm going to talk about my thoughts on it right now. Work-life balance. Here's how this theory would typically be able to work for me. A work-life balance for me insinuates that the two things you're trying to balance out, and just as per any mathematical equation, here's work, here's life. You're trying to balance them out equally. In order to try and do that, you got to assume that the scale of measurement for all two is fair and equal. Let's put it in terms of life. I think time is the right context in which to put these two things in. Let's say we have accumulated a good life-work balance. Then it means that we're spending equally as much time on work as we are on a life, right? And of course, the life part of it is very subjective, but it means you're spreading yourselves equally and fairly between the two things. Call me pessimistic, but for a large majority of people in this world, that's not possible. And for most of us, we spend most of our lives chasing this idealistic notion that in order to have a fulfilled life, one needs to have a balance between work and life. And let's just say life is play, but let's break it down a little bit further. If work, let's say you're a typical 9-to-5er like myself, or even if you are an entrepreneur, chances are you are working tirelessly, especially when starting off that business. So you are spending a majority of your time in this business. The same would apply for a 9-to-5er. Typically, the agreeable amount of time a 9-to-5er would spend on their job is 8 hours. But for some of us, it's 9, it's 10, it's 11, or even 12. We know this. We sometimes go into the weekends, working. So you're taking that. And then there's life here where you still need to make time to exercise, make time to have a social life, make time to go to the grocery store. If you have children, make time to have that time for them, make time to have enough sleep, 8 hours of sleep within the day. Already, the proof is in the pudding. The scales are not balancing. The equation, it's not make sure. Obviously, work or your job or whatever your source of income will always take priority over life. So this notion that you must always strive to have a work-life balance is idealistic and all, but the viability, for me, no, I'm here to find somebody who, as a normal class citizen, as an average human being, is able to do that and strike it without compromising anything about their lives to be able to have that. Not to mention the fact that in this work-life balancing thing, you've still got to balance relationships with your friends, you've still got to balance relationships with your family, you've still got to balance your romantic relationships. I'm still trying to find my future husband. How am I supposed to do that when you have self-help books, especially about, be it entrepreneurship or self-startups, that are telling you to wake up at 5 o'clock, 5 a.m. club, for example? I just think you honestly have to pick one struggle over the other and spread yourself in a manner that's fulfilling to you. I honestly believe that if your priorities are towards your life and what brings you joy, that's where a lot of your energy should be. If you're amongst the fortunate few that happen to enjoy what they do at work, then blessed are you, because then you get to spend a lot of your time in doing something that's fulfilling. And I think instead of aspiring to have a work-life balance, a lot of us should, much like myself, I'm doing a lot of self-work in figuring out what it is that I enjoy, because it's in that fulfillment and enjoyment. If I can take that, what fulfills me and what I enjoy, and make that my income stream, or make that my work or job, then that's the only time that I can say I'm fulfilled and feed into, okay, the notion of work-life balance. But other than that, there's no ways that that principle can apply to somebody like myself. I have to spread myself far too thin to be able to have a work-life balance. Like I said, I also have to have me time in this entire thing. Most of the time, I'm exhausted. I'm sleeping because there are times when I have 3 hours, 4 hours of sleep because I'm juggling so much. So for most of us, it's not viable to expect to have a work-life balance. As I'm saying, you look at yourself and you say, what fulfills me? If motherhood is what fulfills you, then prioritize that accordingly within the confines or context of you knowing that the environment in which you are around needs to be conducive for you to be a full-time parent or full-time mother. That means, aka honey, you've got to have a very wealthy man who's going to be out there busting so that you can stay at home and take care of the children. So your priorities need to be really set straight. If you are a career woman and your aspirations are to be sitting in the C-suite as an exec, that's your priorities. There's always something that you're compromising at part of yourself in order to prioritize that. But I think the compromise is easier to digest because of the fulfillment that comes with that aspiration. Every area of prioritization comes with consequence and sacrifices. So instead of saying that people must just have a work-life balance, why can we not say that people must aspire to find what it is that fulfills them? And in so doing, it won't be strenuous and hard, but it's easier for them to accept and make their losses by virtue of them chasing this area of gratification and satisfaction. It's an easier pill to swallow than being forced into something that you don't enjoy. And for me, that's a theory that I can identify with, and that's a theory that I can understand. But to tell a normal class citizen or even an individual that's on the lower income earning scale that they must strive to have a work-life balance, it's not make sure. It's too idealistic, and it's working under the assumption that you have the leisure of being able to do that. A lot of us don't. Look, there are a lot of dynamics that come into play when it comes to that, and I'm not even going to get into those because those are in their own typically associated to a lot of us not being able to have a work-life balance, or a lot of us having more of that work-life balance than others. So again, it goes back to my initial point, which is when you say I must strive to have a work-life balance, you're assuming that I'm measuring all things fair and equal, and all things fair and equal go into that cultural, that racial, that gender dynamics, workplace politics, red tapes, hierarchy, idealistic bucket when it comes to fair and equal. And you've got to tell me that all of that is considered. And if it indeed is considered when applying this notion of a work-life balance, then I can tell you then that entire theory needs to go and be reviewed and revisited, because those dynamics make it unequal. The ones I've just mentioned on their own make it unfair, and this is a principle that's just too idealistic to be able to apply. And for me, something that I cannot tangibly be able to apply to even myself in the smallest of ways is something that I cannot take seriously, because I just assume, okay, it's not meant for me. I know that there are a lot of things I can strive for, but a work-life balance is one of those unrealistic things that I know it's not my portion, because how am I going to do that? Do you know my lived experience? If you were to tell me, rather strive to do the things in life that you would enjoy, and then I'd think about it and say, okay, in order for me to do that, I'd have to have multiple income streams so that I can be able to go out and do the things that I enjoy. And hopefully, the things that I enjoy also produce more income. Then we're talking. Don't tell me about a work life balance if I'm pushing a 9 to 5, or if I'm pushing a business venture that is taking 5 years to grow and is frustrating the living life out of me. Yeah, that's my take on the subject. For an ordinary human being, the theory is just extraordinary. Extraordinary. And so, with that said, guys, those are my 2 cents on a work life balance. Please let me know what your thoughts are. I'd love to hear what it is that you guys think. Am I the only one that thinks that the principle is too out of the box and unrealistic to be applied to normal individuals, or can it be? And if that's the case, then do keep me honest. I'd love to know how that's possible given my context and what I've said. With that said, guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope you have enjoyed my, once again, very candid conversation on the realities of work-life balance in my context. Please do remember to leave your comments down below and engage in the videos. Really do appreciate your support. I see the growth in the channel. Let's get it to 500 subscribers and beyond that, because I really think that there are conversations that are needed to be had, and let's talk about it. Until next time, I love you deeply. Bye.